Have you ever had an unexplainable moment with music? Was there a time when a song felt completely synchronistic in your life? Was that a coincidence? Or was it a coexistence? Today, I invite you on an extraordinary journey into the realm of harmonious encounters where music and spirituality intertwine. Join me as we unravel this deep and mystical connection between those two things, music and spirituality. It's all right here on Music Ghost Stories. Welcome back to Music Ghost Stories, the podcast about music and its synchronicity in our lives. I'm your host, Donnie. Today, we embark on a journey back to the dawn of music itself, to uncover the story of the world's oldest known musical instrument and the people who may have created it, our ancient relatives, the Neanderthals. First, who were the Neanderthals? Picture rugged, resilient people who thrived across Europe and parts of Asia. They were hunters, gatherers, living in tight-knit groups, facing the challenges of a wild world with strength and ingenuity. Our story takes us to a cave in Slovenia, a small country in Europe with lush forests and sizable mountains. In a cave known as Divya Babe, archaeologists discovered something extraordinary. What appears to be a flute made from a bone. But this flute poses a tantalizing mystery. Was it a masterpiece of Neanderthal craftsmanship, a deliberate instrument of music, or was it the result of natural phenomena? Let's take a step back and simplify the question. Did the Neanderthals even require a need for sound? Neanderthals were crafty, and they manufactured tools for the task at hand. But what would be the task that requires sound? Navigation. Is it possible that the sound of this instrument made it easier to listen for acoustical properties inside of a cave? For instance, say there's a small hole that we can't fit inside of physically. Is it possible that this flute made a sound where we could tell what was on the other side? Is it a small space, or is it a wide open space? Maybe like flute cave sonar or something. Communication. It's unknown if the Neanderthals even had a verbal language, but let's assume they did. Maybe while exploring a cave, yelling or calling out from a distance gets skewed by the reverberated acoustics. Maybe we're unable to understand what is being called out. So, could a unique sound, such as a flute, be a beacon for safety or danger? So maybe there are reasons why the Neanderthals could use sound as a resource. I'm going to play audio of someone playing sounds using this discovered bone. It's almost more than just sounds. Canadian musicologist Bob Fink concluded that the 4 holes found on the bone will play notes consistent to the diatonic scale, known as the do-re-mi scale. The tonality is undeniable. The mystery really lies in this source. How is this instrument made? Well, let's examine the bone in more detail. The holes that are in there were discovered only in the femur of younger cave bears. Compared to adult bones, cub bones would have been more elastic and therefore more likely to puncture as opposed to break. In addition, the holes were predominantly on the thinner side of the bone. Here's what's interesting. The holes in the bone align with the teeth on the upper and lower jaw of a hyena skull which is estimated to be around the same time period. So this dismisses the possibility of the Neanderthals manufacturing. So, what are the odds that an animal bites another animal to the sound of music? According to multiple musicologists, very slim. I think there's a deeper meaning to this story. A flute that was discovered and skepticism as to whether it was intentionally manufactured for musical purposes. What I'm thinking is this. Let's just pretend that the hyenas bit these cubs and the remnants were left that way. What creates music? That or the species? Okay, let's just say that the Neanderthals were roaming through the woods and they were banging on hollowed out pieces of wood that fell from trees and calling themselves drummers. They didn't invent the drum, right? That was nature that provided that. But here's what's interesting. How did we go from that to the drum we have today? It's just from customization and modification. And the Neanderthals, I think, were the species that did that. The first that we know of that would go out, find some resources, and make it work for them. So what I'm proposing is, what if they did find this bone with the holes in it and say it just wasn't what they needed exactly? It worked, but I wish it was this. Okay, and this is what brings Bob Fink, the musicologist, his analysis even more thought-provoking. Okay, and his interpretation is that the symmetry of the holes and the pitch of the flute is just way too much of a coincidence as far as music goes. I almost agree. I could see myself saying, oh man, I wish this sounded like this, finding another bone and say, hey, who's got that drill thing? And drilling holes until I got it just right. So what if it's both? What if nature provided and the Neanderthals manufactured? Let's zoom out. Why music, though? Why would the Neanderthals make music? Well, the Neanderthals were artists. There have been discoveries of art inside of caves, even utilizing the natural cracks in the stone to be part of their picture. Maybe this adds to my point of the Neanderthals' creativity and how it sort of coincides with nature. Music wouldn't be just sound to them, though. Even deeper, I think it may have been a way to connect with something greater than themselves. Let's walk in their footsteps for a moment. You're in the heart of a cave. The air is cool, but the fire's warmth embraces you. Outside, the world is vast and untamed, but in here, you're surrounded by your family and your community. If I could imagine this in one word, it would be peace. There's something else that ties the very beginning of music history to this podcast, and that's the Neanderthals' connection to spirituality. The inside of the caves shares similar acoustical properties to something like that of a cathedral, which is sort of ironic, right? There's been evidence of burial rituals, things like grave goods, items that are left for those that died in case they need them wherever they went. Pollen in the soil beside a Neanderthal skeleton has boosted proposals that they may have buried their dead with flowers. Here's an NPR clip of Barbara King, a retired professor of anthropology.
Yes, this was in a cave in Spain, and the archaeologists uncovered a grave of a toddler. And around the bones of this young child were many examples of animal horns, a rhinoceros skull. So the archaeologists began to wonder what kind of ceremony might have gone on at such a location. Plus, we have many other examples from sites across Europe and Asia with similarly marked graves that show both intentional burial of Neanderthal bodies and some kind of symbolism surrounding that burial. Perhaps these graves are marked and even lovingly cared for because Neanderthals felt emotions.
So, Why would our ancient cousins even create music? Perhaps for the same reasons we do today. To express emotion, to feel connected with each other and the world around us. The Neanderthal flute isn't just an artifact, it's a bridge to music's past, a reminder of the shared journey and the timeless language that is music. Is it a coincidence that the earliest possible musical instrument might have been crafted by a species also believed to possess a profound spiritual awareness? All right, thank you for taking this journey with me on Music Ghost Stories. As we reflect on the echoes of the Neanderthal melodies, let's appreciate the universal power of music to bring us together. If you enjoyed the episode, drop us 5 stars. It's the best thing you can do to help us out, and it's free. If you're on Facebook, come to the Music Ghost Stories Facebook group and let us know what coincidence you've had with music. We want to hear your story. Okay, everyone, thanks for hanging out. Though this episode's over, keep listening.
Goodbye. I love you.
Oh, hey, come look at this. It seems to be some sort of femur bone. Hit it, boys!